Good evening, all. We are going through very hard times. The narratives of hatred are spreading all over North India. And now, after Manipur has been burning for quite many days. And now, after Manipur, now we are hearing not so pleasant news from Haryana. The Haryana is up in flames, and a lot of disturbing news is coming from Haryana. So, to discuss, the IDEM has brought together elite panelist, Sheetal P. Singh. He is a political analyst and a senior journalist. He is a co-founder of Satya Hindi portal. And on our panel, we have Sri Aridaman Jit Singh. He is a former BSF officer. He is a security affairs analyst and an author of the book, At War, Four Pillars of Falsehood and Public of the Republic. Welcome, both of you. And joining us is Venkitesh Ramakrishnan, the editor of The AIDEM. So we'll start with Venkitesh ji. What exactly is happening in Haryana?
Well, I am the closest to the place of action now. I am in the national capital region.
I forgot to tell the audience that you are joining from Delhi. Aridaman ji is joining from US, and Sheetal ji, you are joining from UP.
UP, yes.
Yes, Venkitesh ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I am the closest to the place of action. What is happening is, Haryana has been kind of, this situation has been created in the new region of Haryana, which is very close to Delhi. And interestingly, this is the only region in Haryana where there is a significant Muslim minority population. That is a very important factor. And here, over the last fortnight, there's been consistent bombarding by Motu Manesar, who is a very, infamous Bajrang Dal activist and somebody who has been parading himself as a cow vigilante. And he had announced a religious procession over a fortnight. He had run repeated videos, but the police did not take any action. And he came there and the riots started. There's been at least 3 Muslims. The number of people have been killed, but the point is, the numbers are not very clear. At least 3 Muslims have been killed. One masjid has been burnt, and while the masjid was burnt, 2 people inside the masjid also died of burn injuries. And amidst all this, now what is happening is today the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and the Hindutva combined, the Bajrang Dal, they have started a fresh initiative, and that initiative involves the national capital region and other states bordering Haryana, such as Rajasthan. Interestingly, Rajasthan is going to have elections. So now what has happened this morning is that the Vishwa Hindu Parishad, thousands of workers of Vishwa Hindu Parishad have blocked the Delhi-Faridabad road. It is a lifeline road to Delhi, national capital region. That road is blocked, and already lot of skirmishes are happening in very many regions in the southwestern parts of Delhi, places like Nangloi, and there is a climate of unrest, and things can erupt anyway, and one feels that there is a situation that is going to engulf not just Haryana but the national capital region and Rajasthan. I think there is a very definitive political orchestration that is happening behind this, but I'll come to that later. I don't know whether Sheetal has been following the situation here. Aridaman Jit Singh, as somebody who has done extensive work in Haryana, he is a son of the soil, and he also keeps track of various cultural developments that's happening in Haryana. So I don't know whether they have the latest picture. So this is the latest picture, Anand. Maybe you can check with Sheetal and Aridaman whether they have found out.
I think I'll go to Sheetal now. Sheetal ji, he has just given us, Venkitesh has just given us the actual happening, what is happening recently right now. So the Haryana Home Minister, Mr. Anil, just said that there is a scheme, there is a pattern in the way the violence is orchestrated. So in that light, with all the inputs that Venkitesh has put in, how do you visualize the political formation or the ramification of the ongoing violence?
Actually, 3-4 months, elections are going to take place in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh, also in Telangana and one northeast state. But these three states are adjoining Haryana, particularly Rajasthan. Rajasthan, BJP has a chance as per several, surveys, poll surveys. Otherwise, in Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh, the same surveys are saying that it is losing the election there. Haryana also, there are opinion polls which are saying that Haryana is in opposite direction at the moment. Congress is ahead with the present BJP regime, and BJP regime is very unpopular there. So this event, this particular area, this Mewat, it is called Mewat. There is a sizable number of the population of Muslims. Otherwise, in Haryana, the Muslim population, Haryana and Punjab is very minimal because of the partition days and so many other things. And in this area, the people of minority community, they are into, say, they're into trading of cow, buffaloes, and all the kind of animals. Also, they were into meat business of animals. But because of this BJP government in Delhi and in the states, there is a big push against them to stop them doing their business, which they were doing for, say, decades, maybe more than a century. And furthermore, what they are doing, particularly the Hindutva organizations, periodically they are killing one or two people from this community on the charges of that they are smuggling or carrying cow meat. And recently, not recently, but 6-7 months before, 2 persons from this community in this area were killed by a vigilante group led by Bajrang Dal. The main culprit, as Venkitesh mentioned, Monu Manesar, is charge sheeted. He is the main culprit. Rajasthan police is in want of him. He is absconding as per records. But Haryana state administration is helping him to carry out his activities and keeping him scot-free. This have generated lot of angst among the Mewati Muslim community that administration is protecting their killer. Also, this annual ritual, which was going to take place in this area, annually they carry a yatra. This year also they were carrying a yatra. The Hindu organizations there is a temple from where they were carrying this yatra every year without any issues. But this year what happened, that they put salt on the wound of these Mewati Muslims while generating 2 videos, one by this Manesar and another by some Bittu Bajrangi. There are 2 videos traveling in the social media and internet platforms, and they were very abusive, and they were they were calling for say that we are coming if you dare touch us, like this kind of thing. So, and they organized a lot of mobilization from all over Haryana, some parts of Rajasthan, Delhi, and some parts of Uttar Pradesh for this yatra this year. Many buses, many cars from many other places started reaching there. But as I said, that because of recent killing of 2 persons from this community of this area, in which this Manu Manesar is wanted and have not been caught by police because of the Haryana administration's involvement and protection to him, there was a reasonable angst among the Muslim population. And it came out very bitterly once they came to know that he is coming with and their men were carrying guns and other things also which they were putting on social media, that they are carrying guns and all that, and they are coming like it was a war. But unfortunately, the administration failed miserably. Whether it failed or it was a scheme of them that they wanted something to happen, because this get them polarize the populations, and it helps them. It may help them in Rajasthan, where election is going to take place, and it will help in Haryana also, where they are at back foot at the moment politically in future parliament election and assembly election. So they have not provided adequate security arrangements there. So a few home guards and about 2 dozen of constables, only they are saying 4-5 dozens of security personnel were there, where thousands were assembling from both the communities, and there was everybody was knowing that something may happen there. So this was a total, one can say, there must be mischief from the administration side, political side, and they let it happen. And ultimately, 2 home guards killed there. One Bajrang Dal worker also get shot. He died there, and a few others also. Then there are many vehicles were being burnt out, and then these persons came back to their places from where they moved there, and they started creating ruckus in other areas of NCR, as Venkitesh said, particularly in Gurgaon, where Muslims are in scattered position everywhere, not in a block, or they cannot save themselves if there is a mob attack against them. And the administration was everywhere absent. So a mosque have been vandalized, burnt actually, and the Maulvi, a 22-year-old young Maulvi, was killed. He was stabbed, and some other guys were also stabbed. They are in a hospital. They also burnt some shanties of some poor Muslim fellows here and there, some shops. So these things have started taking place in many places, in Sohna, in Gurgaon. They tried in Rajasthan also, but Rajasthan administration controlled them. Today they are demonstrating in almost most of the places in city of Delhi, and also in UP, in Noida and other places. The Bajrang Dal is demonstrating. They have stopped the Delhi-Faridabad road. I don't know what had happened now, but 4-5 hours they were there. Supreme Court have heard it. This matter was raised in Supreme Court today. Supreme Court noticed the Delhi administration, Haryana administration, and UP administration. Also, they said that video record should be made. There should not be any hate speeches, and there should not be any kind of rioting. Put as many force required. Center is directed to provide adequate force as and when it is asked by any format of the government. So this is the situation at the moment. Definitely the polarization helps BJP, and in the North India, it's a very straightforward thing, which everybody knows. If there is a riot, BJP gains. It's a simple formula.
Yeah. So the Supreme Court urgent hearing was summoned by Chief Justice Chandrachud because there are 23 rallies have been planned. Have they been approved or allowed to continue?
They allowed rallies, but they said you made video, provide adequate force, along with there should not be any hate speeches, and the earlier order of the same court under Justice Joseph should be implemented in words and practice. So this is the scene in the Supreme Court at the moment.
Okay. So we will come to Aridam ji. As Venkatesh ji said, you are the son of the soil. You know the intricate patterns of the population, what is the dynamics of the demography happening there. And Sheetal ji has rightly pointed out that the main business or the main occupation of the people there were into meat business. But the interesting part is, of late, the police have busted a cybercrime syndicate in New district where 100 crore business cases to the tune of 100 crore have been found, and 28,000 people were duped across India. So is there from being a son of the soil, you can probably enlighten us on this. Is there a shift in the way people are working or demanding over there? And is it going to have an impact on the ongoing violence over there?
Actually, this Monu Manesar video, it started circulating, and that time we anticipated what is happening now. It is very much in accordance to the script that they have already written. It was in response the violence that has come up, and this new area, it is dominated by the Muslim community. Whatever concentration of Muslim communities there, it is a new area. It is that general area, and they are into this business. So this strategy very well suits BJP, as they are already losing the ground. So this is their way of polarizing the people and generating hatred and generating violence. This model they have been following right from Gujarat onwards. Everybody knows it. So that is there. So it will help them. It is in anticipation of the future elections. That's what they are doing. And Bajrang Dal, Monu Manesar video, 3-4 days back, it started circulating, and it was anticipated that this is going to happen. And it is getting them the results. So Anil Vij or BJP or the current chief minister, so everything, it is going according to their script.
I had a question for Aridaman, Anand, with your permission.
Yes.
The point is, that what is happening in Haryana at this point of time, from what I can see, is that, after the farmers' agitation, Haryana was a very major source for the farmers' agitation. Not many farmers had joined the historic farmers' agitation, where for the first time the Modi government was forced to annul a law which had hurriedly got passed in Parliament. After that, there was been a kind of groundswell against the BJP, and according to the political analysts of the state, the situation is such that the BJP will not get even a single Lok Sabha seat from in Haryana in 2024 elections. They will get completely wiped out. I mean, that is the information that I got, and also that these broad alliance of non-Jat communities that the BJP had kind of built up, that has not kind of that's also not holding together. Can you throw some light on that aspect, actually?
Yes, there's a brilliant point, actually, Venkatesh, you brought out. Because of the impact of the farmers' movement, there is a big wave among the farmer community, all the village communities, and rather I must say that lot of Jats, they are converting to Sikhism. They have adopted to Sikhism, people in Rohtak area and all across western UP, even in parts of Rajasthan and parts of Haryana, they have started converting to Sikhism. They have started adopting this religion. And they have gone totally against BJP in the villages. And BJP knows it well. And because of this proximity of the farmer community, all the village communities, and the sympathy that developed towards the Punjabi Sikh farmers, that they have stood up for the common man, so it all has gone against the BJP in the Haryana itself. And even religious conversion, that's a big jolt, I must say, to all this drama or propaganda that BJP does.
What is the scale of religious conversion, and what is the number?
What is this?
How many people?
Extent of conversion happening over there?
Yes, yeah. Educated class, intellectual class, lawyers, even CRPF officers, those who did work during the anti-militancy operations, they have gone to Golden Temple and they have converted on the important dates, like on what we call it, Baisakhi. On Vaisakhi, they adopted to Sikhism. There are lawyers in Rohtak, they are converting to, and every now and then, every second or third day, there is one family converting. After every 10 days, another family converting. So this is happening among the Jat community in Haryana. They are converting to Sikhism. And they are anti-BJP. Now,
Sheetal ji, you wanted to add something there?
Yeah. One more very reasonable development in this regard, that these Bajrang Dal people on social media and otherwise also in meetings, They are calling Jats and Yadavs and Gujars to come along and beat the Mewati people. They are saying, you are Hindu, you come, and if you come, we are having big numbers. But on social media and other platforms, Jats and other their social media activists are not only refuting, they are criticizing them to unnecessary creating this kind of ruckus and putting Hindu in name of Hindu and all that. So this new trend is developing in that, particularly in Haryana. In most of districts, nothing happened. Only in this particular region where they have some, organization in Gurgaon. Otherwise, in most of the places, they failed to gather even 5,000 people for their cause after this incident. But in UP, yes, they are getting traction. In Delhi also, they are not getting that much people. But they get people in UP only in numbers. Otherwise, in Haryana, most of the cities are calm. And nothing happened. Only a handful of young men with association of Bajrang Dal and Vishnu Parishad found on the roads crying horse. But even passerbys are not attending them as they were attending earlier. So this new trend is there. That is very remarkable. Yes.
So is it from the picture of it, it looks like they are targeted attack on the Muslims, isn't it? Venkitesh?
No, it is very clearly targeted attack on the Muslims. There is no doubt about it. It is, I think, this is something which has been planned by the Sangh Parivar with the active participation of the state administration. It's a pattern that, as Aridaman was very correctly pointing out, it is a pattern that started in Gujarat in 2002. It is now, recently, we have seen it happening in Manipur, where the government, where the security forces, the police and the government and the administration is in collusion with the rioters. Even in the case of the two women who were paraded naked, they are on record saying that, the police handed over them to the people to kind of, molest them and attack them. So here also the collusion of the administration is very clear. Absolutely clear. But then unfortunately, you will not hear this in the mainstream media. The mainstream media is completely silent on this aspect. This was not the case 20 years ago when Gujarat happened. But the change that has happened in mainstream media is very clear. Nobody is really talking about the huge collusion that has been done by the administration. And personally, I feel that this is all following a clear pattern. This communal right, the polarization exercise, you had seen this exactly 1 year before the 2014 elections in Western Uttar Pradesh. That is, from there it was started, when this grand 2014 campaign that led the BJP to single majority and the great victory under Narendra Modi. That started with the communal riots in 2013 from Western UP. It was and at that time, Amit Shah, who was not a minister but a leader of the BJP, the national president of the BJP, he was an active presence there. And now, when this Haryana thing is happening, this consolidated attack is happening against the Muslims, targeted attack is happening, and then this whole climate is being built up. You have the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath saying what happened. He's telling the Muslims of Varanasi and the Gyanvabi Masjid Committee that there is a historical mistake that was made and you have to correct it. So the point is, this whole narrative is being built up. And but Sheetal has very rightly pointed out, this Jat, they are exhorting the Jats and all the other Hindu communities in Haryana to join and attack the Muslims. And the Jat community, in their own official organization, they have come up with a press release this afternoon saying that, that we have heard your appeal, we are rejecting it outright. We are a secular society, we are a secular committee, and we want communal harmony to remain, and we will not be joining you. We are against your thing. So this is an interesting development. But efforts are on. That is why from Haryana today, since morning, the whole NCR region, including the ones in UP, ones in Haryana, ones in Delhi itself, and also areas, close to Rajasthan, are being kind of, brought into this large-scale thing. Movement of people has become very difficult in Delhi, especially in the southwest region. Even very important places like Dholakwa, which is very close to the parliament, with hardly about 5-6 kilometers from parliament. Dholakwa is blocked. People are not able to move even in that region. The elite regions of South Delhi are not much affected, but then other areas are getting increasingly affected. One doesn't know how this is going to develop.
Because from what you have said, there seems to be a very orchestrated process to normalize Islamophobia. And its impact is going to be felt across India, not just in the affected areas, immediately affected areas. For example, the RPF constable Chetan Singh's case, where he picked out 3 Muslims in different compartments in the train, the Jaipur Mumbai Central Superfast Express, for killing, and his justification was Islamophobia. So the impact of such a narrative is being reverberated across the nation. So obviously it will have its impact in the next general elections also. So what is how strong is the local community, NMG, even though they are moving on to closer to Sikhism, how strong are they to counter this narrative hatred?
Yeah, see, as far as my knowledge and my communication with the people in the Jat community is concerned, and the people with whom I'm associated, they are not going to buy this narrative. But yeah, certainly this Sangh Parivar, BJP, their Bajrang Dal, this Monu Manesar, he is a kind of criminal element. And these people, they get these things done through these criminal elements, and with complete protection, collusion of the police and the local administration. And they help it. So that's what's happening. And I don't think local community, Jat community, is very much going to support it. But yeah, certainly 1 or 2 killings, and ultimately it's going to, revert back. The Muslims will also respond. So it will have, it will bring up the situation, of course. It will deteriorate the situation further. Yeah.
And to that, I would like to add the point that I raised earlier. Nu is being portrayed as the hub for cybercrime. Does that change the narrative? Does it change the... Does it act as a justification for the violence? Because one of the cyber stations was ransacked during the riots, and the crime records were destroyed. Attempts were made to destroy the crime records. So say the police. So is it related to the ongoing narrative to normalize the Islamophobia? Sheetal ji.
Yeah, that's what their strategy is. Yeah.
So as I raised earlier in the discussion, there is an attempt to create a narrative. First, the Home Minister said there is a pattern in the violence, pattern in the disturbance that happened in Nu. And then there is a story doing rounds saying that Nu is the hub for cybercrime, and with attempts to destroy the records in a cyber police station during the riots. So, placing that along with the narrative that Nu is a Muslim-dominated area where the primary business is meat business, converting that narrative to a cybercrime hub, does that change the equations, or does that justify the violence that is happening over there?
I missed a very major development to mention. The member parliament of this area of Gurgaon, and also a cabinet, also minister in the Modi cabinet, Mr. Rao, he said that how we can justify that people are carrying guns and say sharp-edged weapons in our dharmic yatra. So he actually pinpointed the problem which generated this issue. So what the Home Minister of Haryana wanting to place or concoct the situation, but with this statement of Mr. Rao, it has come to the floor that there are differences amongst the ruling party also related to this attitude of state government or whosoever is designing these kind of things, or the Bajrang Dal or Vishwa Hindu Parishad, and people who are of the view that in near future in elections it is not that easy as it was in Haryana and other places other than UP. So they are feeling a little, they are getting disturbed also, I think, because of the pulp underneath. So they are disassociating, I think, from the kind of bogey normally BJP RSS carry upon. And in this case, I think that this, because even Yadavs who are in dominant position in Gurgaon and some other places of this area, they also have not participated. Monu Manesar comes from the Yadav communities. He is a Yadav. But even he is not getting that kind of support from his community as well. So these are some good signs in this development. And overall, it appears that in Haryana and in Rajasthan, I don't know, but in Haryana, it won't do much politically in favor of BJP, whatsoever they have thought about it, and they let it happen. But currently, I'm not feeling those kind of notions in their favor. Yes, in UP, they have this kind of trend in their favor because of other things. Maybe some part of Delhi, but not overall also because of this new India thing. When Congress social media warriors and Aam Aadmi Party social media warriors are not warring with each other and warring together with the right-wing warriors. So situation on social media which criminalize these things and spread these things amongst most of the people and create perception is also taking less space as it was taking earlier.
The needle keeps coming back to Monu Manesar, Venkitesh. You said we need to come back to Monu Manesar in detail because he was on the run on charges of lynching, mob lynching, killing 2 people as part of his cow vigilante activism. But still he is at large and he is very explicitly harping up the violence through his videos. So there seems to be a very clear, obvious pattern to this. Because the Yatra was supposed to be held on Monday and his video was on Sunday. A day ahead and a couple of days back. Since then, he has been orchestrating this thing. So, what is the update on him? The government has...
See, I have followed Monu Manesar very closely right from his early cow vigilante days and lynching and all that. See, he's actually a local goon. He is not, even committed to the Hindutva philosophy or anything. But then he found that this cow vigilantism is a good money-making business. And he has made crores of rupees. In fact, I had interviewed many of his old associates a year and a half ago. And it was very prominently, that story was carried in the front line. And how it's a business of proposition, this cow vigilantism, apart from this creating communal polarization and all this creating anti-Muslim rhetoric, how it is a money-making proposition. So basically, he's an outright gunda who has got into this business. But I think right now, because of his aggressive attitude and the manner in which he has carried out his activity, the Sangh Parivar has given him a respectable position. I think he is now part of their political operation. This is very clearly an attempt, a desperate attempt to kind of polarize the situation in Haryana and kind of retrieve the lost ground and also see whether this will have an impact in Rajasthan. So I think this is a very, he is now, if you're going to focus on Monu Manesar, I think he has moved up the hierarchy of the Hindutva ladder. Bajrang Dal Goon has now become a political operator. But as Sheetal very correctly pointed out, I don't think it will have any tremendous impact in Haryana itself. But certainly the situation is such, the law and order situation is collapsing. People are losing their lives. There is a lot of property that is being burnt and destroyed. So the loss to the society and the people are there. That's a very clear thing.
So from what we have discussed, this discussion is going into very interesting patterns. From what we have discussed, there seems to be a very clear, very obvious pattern in the way the unrest has been orchestrated, starting from the role of Monu Manesar, how common Ghoul has been put in a position where he can control the mob and create an unrest. So we are about to wind up this discussion. Before we wind up, my question to Aridaman ji, you have clearly brought out, your very interesting point that you have brought out is the Jat community moving towards Sikhism and the communal amity that is remaining in Haryana. So what will be the long-term impact of such narratives of hatred that the BJP and the Hindutva group is trying to pitch? What will be the impact in the mainstream society?
It is not going to have much impact. These criminal elements, they are engaging into all the criminal acts to these criminal elements only. And the common man in the society is not much inspired by these people. And they just develop this nuisance value and mob and through the state patronage of the ruling class nowadays. That's it. So the Jat community is not going to support much. They are not going to have any, much favorable response from the village communities.
Okay. So the goal seems to be very clear that it is very political statement. But unfortunately, as we are saying that Haryana is neighbouring Rajasthan and UP, is there any counter political narrative happening to stop this hatred, the narrative of hatred worsening, especially from UP, which is a very critical state, Sheetal ji? Is there any counter narrative coming up from UP, from within UP?
Actually, the main opposition party in UP is Samajwadi Party, led by Akhilesh Yadav. The last assembly election, it got quite a sizable percentage of votes, 37%, which they never got in their life cycle of Samajwadi Party. He is not, creating any kind of momentum amongst the people who don't like this kind of policies of right-wing politicians, the present state government and central government. So this vacuum is helping the present regime to consolidate themselves. Even Congress don't do that. No party does these kind of things to counter the right wing on the street. This should have been done. Some social groups are doing it. Like Sikhs have provided their helping hand to the people in Gurgaon, the mosque people whose mosque was set ablaze and the imam was killed. So Sikhs were the one who went there to help them and save them. But as a political outfit, no one went there. Congress is a very strong organization in Gurgaon and everywhere. They could have gone there. They also have not initiated like some Twitter statement, that's all. So unfortunately, in North India, and particularly in UP, Gurgaon, Delhi, and in this area, this political acumen is absent. And we don't find them on the street fighting these kind of policies, politics, and all that. That is the region in UP, they have the upper hand throughout.
By winding up this discussion, Venkitesh ji, this silence in a way justifies the scheme of things that is happening, that is being planned, that is being orchestrated. And this silence is not only from the opposition parties. The media also is not having, is stopping short of naming the real culprits. Even in Monu Manesar case, he is a wanted charge sheeter, but nobody is discussing that in the context of the violence that is happening, that he has orchestrated. So many lives have been lost, so many infrastructure has been lost, and people's daily routine have been affected. But still, media is not rising up to the occasion and naming the culprits, the real culprits, or bringing out the real angle of the things happening, or even the larger picture of it. So what is happening in the mainstream media and what is happening in the opposition?
Well, I think, I would like to address the other question that you posed about the political counter-offensive to, or the counter to what is the Hindu Sangh Parivar Act. See, there are few things that are very, very evident. As Sheetal was saying, the political acumen and political will to fight communalism is getting increasingly lesser among political parties of North India, which includes the Congress, which includes the Samajwadi Party, the Bahujan Samaj Party. And I think there are several reasons for it. Like, for example, the Bahujan Samaj Party has been silenced essentially because of the corruption charges against their leader and the leader's family. It is very evident. That is known to all the people. And as far as the Congress and the SP are concerned, I think what is happening is on the social level, the othering of Muslims is more or less complete. The Muslim is considered to be a second-class citizen, and that sense has now become part of the social psyche. So I think, that is one aspect. Like, for example, in the Haryana, the Congress has 31 MLAs. It's a very powerful opposition party. But there is not a single intervention by any Congress leader or Congress party in this situation. Because, that the political repercussions of such an intervention is something which the Congress also needs to evaluate. So I think, most of these parties are adopting a wait-and-watch policy. But I do not know whether it's a good strategy politically or it's a bad strategy politically, but something that time will have to tell. And as I was saying, the media is become completely emasculated, if we can use the word. The point is, there is no, I think, what we are discussing today in the AIDEM today, you will not hear a discussion like this in all probability in any of the mainstream channels. So that's also a very pathetic situation. But the fact of the matter is, as you said in the preface, there is a social climate of aggression, Hindutva aggression that has been created. And then, as I say, that the aggression against the Muslim minority communities is going in leaps and bounds. And what political impact it will have ultimately needs to be seen. But as Aridaman was saying, this movement of Jats from the Hindu fold to the Sikh fold itself is a political statement. So there are a lot of things happening. There's a lot of churning happening. One thing is very clear: the Haryana, these developments make it very clear that the BJP is a bit rattled these days in the run-up to the 2024 and especially the forthcoming assembly elections in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh and the northeastern states. So basically, there is a sense of anxiety, angst within the BJP, and that is manifesting as this polarizing effort. So let us keep this dialogue continuing and let us see how it develops.
Because a rattled BJP seems to be more dangerous than a very confident and settled BJP. Because we need to keep this conversation going, because these are one of the remaining spaces where this topic is being discussed and names are being called out. The real issue is being discussed. So thank you, Aridaman ji, for joining us from US. And Sheetal ji, you are joining us from UP. Thank you. Thank you for giving that political insights into the situation. And Venkitesh ji, you are joining us from Delhi. Thank you for the discussion. We will keep coming back to this topic as and when the developments happen. Thank you all.